Hey guys, my name's Doug with Infotainment.com. Today we're working on Ford and Lincoln vehicles, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the latest technology they have for their infotainment systems. It is called Sync 4. Now Sync 4 itself is an awesome upgrade versus the older Sync 3. You get a lot of added benefits such as advanced voice activated assistant. You get high resolution screens with the Sync 4 system in 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15-inch. They come with or without built-in GPS navigation. They're compatible with the new SiriusXM platform X65, which gives you a whole wide array of benefits for satellite radio. Integrated hands-free Bluetooth, pinch to zoom feature. One of the best features about the Sync 4 is you get the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability. So as soon as you get in your vehicle, your phone will connect. There's no cords, nothing. It shows up as soon as you get in the vehicle. Now, a lot of Fords already come from the factory with the Sync 4 system. So if you want to increase the size of your screen, we can help you over at Infotainment.com. But what about those of you who have Sync 3? If you want Sync 4, it's impossible unless you go with Infotainment.com. We have developed plug-and-play factory OEM Ford and Lincoln kits so you can go from the older technology to the latest and greatest Sync 4. All right guys, today I want to show you an exciting new Infotainment.com exclusive upgrade. This is the 12-inch factory OEM Sync 4 upgrade for the 2015 to 2020 F-150, the 2017 through the 2022 Ford Super Duty, which includes F-250 through the 550, and the 2018 through 2021 Ford Expedition. So all of the full-size Ford truck vehicles, we're gonna allow you guys, the first time ever, to go from Sync 3 technology to Sync 4 with the high-resolution 12-inch display. You guys are gonna absolutely love this upgrade. It's the largest OEM screen your Super Duty F-150 or Expedition can obtain. Higher resolution and better visual clarity, especially in situations like the backup mode. 100% OEM, it's compatible with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, onboard GPS navigation, and every factory feature of your truck. You'll be able to increase the value and retain the function of your pickup. Don't make any aftermarket sacrifices. This is an exclusive DIY all-encompassing upgrade right here from Infotainment.com. You can't get it anywhere else. All right guys, you're probably wondering, what does it take to install this upgrade? Well, we have a combination of infotainment parts and factory Ford parts. So first of all, you're going to get the high resolution 12-inch Ford Sync 4 display. You're also going to get a pre-programmed to your VIN number Ford Sync 4 APIM module, along with some custom-made brackets on the back side of the screen and the APIM. You're also going to get factory-grade ABS plastic painted matte black plastic for your vehicle, along with two what we call button bars. If you have the 3 switches on the top of your dash, you can use this. If you have the 2, you can use this one. You can discard the other. We have plug-and-play wiring. Look at how easy the wiring is, guys. There's not wires all over the place like you would see with an aftermarket system. Look how easy it is. LVDS display cable, plug-and-play factory molded wiring, a GPS antenna for those who do not have existing GPS, a bag of screws, last but not least, the OBD Genie programmer, which will give you the ability to program the truck to accept this as a factory installed option. So let's get started. I'm gonna show you guys today how easy it is to install in your vehicle.
All right, so where we're gonna start on the F-150 is right up top here. Even though this is in a Raptor, all you F-150 guys are going to be identical. Some of you may not have a speaker up here, although this panel does have to come off either way because there's 2 7mm screws going straight down in the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my panel tool, wedge it up in here. There we go. And we're going to pop all 4 corners out. There we go. You got some clips holding that on. And 2 7mm. All right, once you got that out, this whole center cubby pops straight up. There's a couple of clips way up front here. We'll use our panel tool to pop free. There you go. Just like that. And we can unplug that speaker and set this aside. All right, and that'll give us our access to the two 7mm holding on our radio bezel. We'll take those out. Now all we have to do is pull our bezel to the rear. I like to start at the top and work my way down. And once you got that free, you just got a bunch of connectors on the backside that we'll need to unplug. We can set our radio bezel aside. Now we have access to the 6 7mm screws that are holding our radio in. We'll get this pulled out of here. I like to use a magnetic tip 7mm driver, because these can be kind of tight to get out, and a lot of times you'll drop that 7mm down there and you'll never get it back. Now you can pull your radio straight back. We'll undo these connectors also. And that lever style connector right in the center, you want to press down that clip and then slide the whole lever down, and that'll push that connector out of there. Now with our Sync 3 radio removed, we need to transfer over our radio brackets to our new screen. So we'll get these removed. All right, so I got the Sync 3 8-inch pulled out, getting ready for the Sync 4 12-inch to go in. I have the A-pin here. It's mounted on this custom bracket that's included with your kit. And how we're gonna move forward is we're actually gonna do the wiring portion of this before we get the A-pin in there. So I'm gonna plug in the harness that's included with your kit. This is a pass-through harness. This little lever needs to be in that down position as you're sliding it into the A-pin. Once it starts to move a little bit, you can go ahead and push it the rest of the way. That's going to lock it in place. And then we have your LVDS cable, and this is a color match connection. So we're going to plug the blue side in, the pink side goes to the back of the screen. Just like on your main harness, you have this little pigtail that's coming off of here. This is also going to go to the 12-inch screen, and it's labeled so you know exactly where that goes. But we got this all plugged in. I'm going to slide this into the dash here and get my connectors plugged in here. Plug in that factory connector. We'll plug in our USB port and the FACRA connection. Basically, we're going to line up the pins, the alignment pins, on the bracket with our original A-pin. Just like that, we have our 12-inch display connector and LVDS cable hanging down right underneath. Those are going to get routed up to these holes here. But first, we're going to mount this bracket down to the vehicle. All right, we got it all screwed in. Before we grab our bezel and start working on that, I'm gonna go ahead and route the wires up to these openings here into the ones that they need to be routed to. So on the passenger side, that's where you're gonna want your pink connector, and the driver side is gonna get the one labeled 12-inch display. When it's all said and done, your screen is gonna mount up in this orientation. So if you have them crossed, you're gonna be coming across like that. So you don't wanna do that. So make sure pink is on the passenger side and the black one's on the driver's side. All right, so we got our bezel here. Before we set this back onto the truck, what we have to do is pull these buttons off and put it on the included button bar that comes with your kit. If you have 2 buttons, you're gonna have a 2-button bar. If you have 3 buttons, you're gonna have the 3-button bar. Either way, these need to get transferred onto here, and then we have to relocate some wiring in the dash that I'll get to after this. But basically, you're gonna want to spin around your bezel so you're looking at the back of the buttons. On either side, you have a couple of clips that you need to squeeze in and push forward at the same time. Just like that. Basically, you're just squeezing those side clips in, and this will pop right out. Now, once you have this, you're gonna do that for all of them. You're gonna wanna transfer it over to the button bar. Now, to get the positions correctly, you don't actually need to remember which way you pulled them out. These are keyed, so they'll only go in one way. So if I tried to put this one in here or here, it won't work. So only the right button will go into the correct slot. It can be a little tight to get out of there. There we go. All right, now with our buttons transferred over to the button bar, this actually relocates down to the bottom. So when the bezel is in there, your buttons are not up here anymore. They're gonna be at the bottom of that new 12-inch screen. So because of that, what we have to do is route the harness that's coming out up top here with your 3 connections. We need to pull this through that hole, bring it underneath our whole new bracket that we just installed, and have it just kind of coming out at the bottom down here. So to do that, we're gonna pull this through, and I'm gonna kind of feed it down to the bottom here. All right, just like that. And to get a little bit more slack, there's actually a clip up top here that all you need is a little panel tool, and you can pop this clip off. And now we have a bunch more slack, and that's basically all we need. So with everything in place, now we're ready to grab our bezel. We'll get the connections that are still on this bezel plugged in. And then the 3 that we just pulled off for the buttons up top, we'll make sure that that's protruding out of here. We don't want that to be down there when we snap this back in. As well as these connectors here, just like that. Now we'll feed our bezel up and over the bracket. Just like that. And snap it in place. So when it's all said and done, this is how you want your dash to look like. Now we can go ahead, put the screws back in up top, put our little cubby with speaker back up top. We can close that whole thing down and get ready for our new plastics that are going to go into house that new 12-inch screen. All right, so with our plastics here, I'm going to get the wires going through our dash piece just like this. And as you're sitting your bezel onto the dash, you want to kind of line it up with the holes that's in your mounting plate. Once you're in there, you'll see that some holes have a little arrow next to them. Those are the ones that you're going to put screws in first. And what I like to do is get the holes lined up so that this piece is as high as it'll sit on your dash, basically. You have a hardware kit that's included with your upgrade. All the screws are the same except for the 2 black ones. Those 2 black ones are actually going to be the ones on the top aiming forward. Everything else gets the silver screws. So I'll grab a couple for now, thread it in by hand first. And I'll put the other 2 at the bottom where those arrows are. So with the 4 screws in there, I'm just going to push up on our dash piece to make sure that this plastic is pretty high up in there, and then I'll tighten these down. All right, now I'm gonna grab our sheet metal bracket, and before I get that hung onto our plastic bracket in the dash, I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 of our screws at the very bottom here, just because it makes life easier once everything's all said and done in there. This set of screws is what secures your button bar at the bottom here. Looking at it like this is gonna sit in there, and you're gonna tighten this down. That's gonna get this locked into place. You can put it in afterwards, but I find it's easier if you do it now. You slide this onto the dash, get that lined up there, and as you can see, getting those in after the fact, you'd have to kind of be trying to find it up in here. So now that it's in there, all we have to do is tighten it down. But with this bracket in place, we'll get the remaining 4 screws installed on here. All right, now we are ready for our screen. Now on the back side of our screen, you'll see we have another bracket here, and you have some standoffs that are keyed into this bracket. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna line those up with the larger portion of those holes, press inwards, and then you're going to push the whole screen upwards so it's going to lock into place. Let me get this plugged in and I'll show you what I'm kind of talking about here. So you get the screen kind of set in there. Now you see that gap up there? The screen is in those keyhole slots that are in the back. And you'll push up and that'll lock it into place. So now all we have to do is put 2 screws at the bottom here, which are the last 2 silver screws that I have. And then we have 2 more screws that go on the top side, aiming to the rear. We'll do that last after we get this button bar in. And the button bar will plug in just like it did from the factory. And there's kind of a lip on it right here. See the lip? That goes underneath your screen. So you're gonna wanna kind of angle it up underneath there. And it should sit nice and flush in there. There we go. Once you have that button bar in place, those 2 screws that we kind of pre-threaded in there, we can go ahead and tighten those down. And these are all Phillips, so we made it easy for you. Nice and tight. That's not going anywhere. Now we can get the 2 black ones at the top of the bezel. All right, and you can see the angle that I'm in. It's a little low here, so definitely having that pocket out helps to get the screw in. And once it's seated in there, we don't have to wrench out in or anything. This is just for support. All right, we got it snug. Same thing on the other side. All right, now we'll go ahead and reinstall this pocket with our speaker and we'll move forward with the programming. All right, so we got our pocket. Don't forget to plug your speaker in. And lastly, we have our little cover. All right, that wraps up this install. So from this point, we can turn on the ignition and plug in our programmer until we see a green light, and that way we'll know our vehicle has been programmed. All right, we got a green light, so we're clear to pull this from the vehicle. Even though the vehicle has been programmed, we will save this, stick it in the glove box, just in case for whatever reason we lose programming. We have the ability to reprogram it as needed.
Right away, you guys noticed this awesome new 12-inch display here with the Sync 4 system. What a massive upgrade to your Ford vehicle, not only from the standpoint of aesthetics, but also the technology. It's just such a great transformation. Now I'm going to show you guys a little bit about it today. So right here in the audio section, right now we're right here on the FM mode. This particular audio control module has not only SiriusXM, but also HD radio. You'll notice that tab up there is on at the moment. All right, now this vehicle obviously has SiriusXM, so we're gonna check that out. Now SiriusXM is one of the best things about Sync 4, in my opinion. You're gonna get it with the X65 platform, which gives you album art, it gives you better station identification. Depending on your subscription, you'll get more channels. So I'll give you a brief overview of how that looks. You go into that tab there, you'll be able to come in here and change some of your settings. If you're browsing for channels, you can do so by pressing that button, coming through all the genres that you want. You can also obviously scroll through whatever station you want to listen to based on your subscription. So it's really laid out really well. Works phenomenal. With the X65 platform, you also get the mix mode presets. So you can see we have AM, FM, satellite radio down here in your preset row. So that's what mix mode is, and that is what you can take advantage of with that X65 platform. Just an awesome upgrade there for the Sync 4. If you want to connect to your phone, you simply just add your phone there. I did turn off the CarPlay temporarily so I can get through all the tabs, and then here at the end of the video I'm going to show you guys how CarPlay works in Android Auto. Moving on to the navigation, these Sync 4 systems come with or without GPS navigation. So this particular one has built-in GPS navigation. You notice it pinpointed our location immediately. You could come in here and it's got a wide array of different features and options for the Sync 4 GPS navigation, just so much better than the Sync 3. You get to go to recent addresses. You can obviously say your home and your work address. Just works really, really well. And be able to come in here, and if you want to adjust more things, you can come into this menu here and do that. So really cool. It's got pinch to zoom, so it works awesome. The favorite icon down here, you can move one of these tiles down as a favorite if you're constantly going in and let's just say adjusting your ambient lighting. If that's something that you have, you can move that down. Keep in mind, with this upgrade, we pre-program it to your exact VIN number. So when you guys receive the kit from us, it will work exactly the way it needs to. So just as an example, before I move to apps, your steering wheel controls, all your Bluetooth buttons and functionality on your steering wheel work perfect. Something I'll jump into real quick, the backup camera. I mean, just look at the quality and how large the backup camera is. Just from a safety perspective, it is such an awesome part of this Sync 4 system. So what we'll do now is we'll go into apps. You'll be able to control Apple CarPlay, Android Auto right through this menu here. And then the settings menu, as I mentioned before, this is pre-programmed to your exact vehicle. So if you have certain features that others don't, you'll see it and they won't. So it'll be programmed exactly for your vehicle, and you'll be able to come into the settings menu. I won't do it today, but you can come in here and change things however you'd like. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is this feature over here on the right hand side. Because it's such a big screen, Ford designed it so you can have some tiles over here that are handy and quick and easy to get. So as you can see, this is in the audio section here. You can go up to climate, off-road, your phone, or even GPS navigation. So if you're in, let's just say, a different mode, you can always have your maps on over here in the corner. So you can set it to whatever you'd like. All right, another thing I want to show you guys here, obviously one of the absolute best parts about Sync 4 is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So a very convenient feature. You start your vehicle, you get in, and right away it pairs to your phone. You're not tethered through a USB. You just get in and it starts working. So, and then obviously if you have the 12-inch screen in your vehicle, it makes such a big difference. You can push that out of the way by pressing this button here, and now you have a full screen Apple CarPlay. It is just amazing, the functionality of this in this vehicle. So you have your recent used apps over here. If you press this, you can obviously go through and select whatever app that you want. Just as an example, Google Maps with the satellite view. It's such an awesome thing here, the wireless Apple CarPlay. Now I'm going to show you guys how Android Auto works wirelessly. All right, now for Android Auto, let me show you guys how that works. So as you can see, wireless Android Auto, there is a little icon down here that you can press to move that tile out of the way. Now you have a full 12-inch Android Auto in your Ford vehicle. Works just the way that Android Auto works. You have your favorites here. You can press that button. You can scroll through all of the applications. So again, works really well. And I think you guys will love the fact that this will be a complete wireless application, both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, Infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.